design the darts of the plan. Who stole that made an art of the man? The new knowledge of power. My one prayer. Knowledge is power, and power is knowledge. Break the chains and experience the knowledge. Find power in power, and truth in knowledge. Once you know, no one can take your knowledge. I read book after book, studying the power, spent hour after hour, learning black power, destroying lie after lie. For the power, found self in these pages of conceptual power. I found the truth and I'm not letting go. Frederick Douglass and Booker T found power. Nat Turner found truth in his darkest hour. Mama Harriet set us free and stood for we. In these pages I found power in our history. UEP birthed the panther in me. In me, never let a fascist pig carry me, not me. Revolutionary thoughts, all I read. Normal for my soul, keep my spirit on high. Revolutionary thought is always on the rise. Yeah, it's always on the rise. Love. Knowledge is power, and power is knowledge. Break the chains and experience the knowledge. Find power in power, and truth in knowledge. Once you know, no one can take your knowledge. I read book after book, studying the power, spent hour after hour, learning black power, destroyed lie after lie. For the power, found self in these pages of conceptual power. Our problem was never us, our problems was them. Them being the ones who robbed and took us, kings and queens, nation builders. From stolen legacy to Anthony Browder, building institutions with black knowledge. Build black libraries for black scholars, building black minds, urban philosophy, urban black reads every one place. Black owned bookstores, we support your space. To all black authors, we give much thanks. Knowledge is power, and power is knowledge. Break the chains and experience the knowledge. Find power in power, and truth in knowledge. Once you know, no one can take your knowledge. I read book after book, studying the power, spent hour after hour, learning black power, destroyed lie after lie. For the power, found self in these pages of conceptual power. Our problem was never us. Our problem was never us. Our problem was never us. Knowledge is power, our power is knowledge. Break the chains and experience the knowledge. Find power in power, and truth in knowledge. Once you know, no one can take your knowledge.
Peace and love, family. Peace and love. That was a song by Baba ADISA FATIU out of PLM, man, and he killed that book. That track. I'm sorry, I'm saying book because he said I read book after book, and that's my favorite line, man. I was jogging one day, I put that in my earphones, and I'm jogging. I'm like Black Power, you know. And I was jogging in the quarry around some white folks, but I'm in that joint Black Powered out. But anyway, peace and love, family. Peace and love to everyone under the sound of my voice. Welcome to another powerful talk with your sister doctor, my aunt, man. I see the Maadian families in the building. I see my B1 families in the building. I see all of you in the building, man. Peace and love to you. I see JG. He said, peace, Dr. My aunt, B1 for life. Ashe, B1 for life. He said, much love. Imhotep Ross, he says, peace, war, and black power, family. We have Press Rev in the building. Peace to you. I don't know if I did that. Press Trev. I'm sorry. Said, I hope this African Americans don't have culture is addressed. Yeah, we actually addressed that, family. We addressed that, brother. I don't know if this is a brother or sister, Press Trev, but we actually addressed that. Man, I've been addressing it, man, multiple times on this platform. It's an insane statement, you know. It's an insane statement, you know. Absolutely. I mean, to say that any ethnic group, right? If you just take it out of, you know, we're not looking at just black folks, right? Just looking at us. I mean, other folks, to say that any ethnic group doesn't have a culture is an insane statement, right? Because we define culture as the totality of beliefs, values, and practices, right? That characterizes a people. Are you just saying nobody has beliefs and values and principles and practices that characterize? You get what I'm saying? So the whole thing is bananas when you understand the definition of culture. So Press Trev, I agree 1,000% with you. What's up, Hotspot Casino? He said this should be good. Oh yeah. Brother Ankh is getting ready to pull up to have a conversation with me on this. Why didn't y'all tell me that the daggone L, I left off the daggone L in the title? Why didn't someone tell me? Why y'all didn't tell me, Dr. Ma'at? I was rushing. I'm in the bed trying to create this title. and I was Russian. Foundational. Do foundational Black Americans really know? And I say our history. Notice I didn't say their history, because if anyone understands my lineage, and shout out to Brother Ankh, he just joined backstage. I'm going to add him in just 2 minutes, Brother Ankh. Give me 2 minutes to say this. And but anyway, y'all, anyone who knows my lineage, you know that my family, I can trace my lineage all the way back to 1804 here, Sumter County, South Carolina, Greensboro, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Maryland Eastern Shore. So that's my lineage. My lineage has been here for hundreds of years. And I am a child of the descendants of the enslaved Africans who worked from Can't See to Can't See. Even if someone does a deeper dive and look at and knows my legal, surname, my legal surname is Irish. The people that owned in Maryland Eastern Shore, my father's father's father, right, going all the way back. My mother's maiden name, they owned a huge plantation down in Sumter County, South Carolina. So my mother's father carries the name of those enslavers, right? Or that family that enslaved Africans down in Sumter County, South Carolina, who owned a huge plantation. So that is my lineage. I am a proud Black American, a proud African American. So if you're saying that, well, Doc, you will be considered foundational, which I know my lineage is to this country, then so be it. But as I explained to Brother Ankh earlier, I embrace any of those terms. I do embrace FBA. I do embrace ADOS. I do embrace freedmen. Any of those terms that describe the lineage that I just discussed with you, I embrace those terms. Now, what I don't embrace is the misinformation associated with those terms. So let's make that clear. The pseudoscience that is associated with those terms. You understand? But if you're using those terms to characterize that lineage, right? To characterize or to describe it or to distinguish it from Black immigrants who willfully migrated over here, then so be it. But I do not accept any type of pseudoscience or pseudo history that is associated with those terms. So peace and love to you, Michael Jackson, Amani. So peace to your family. I see my sister Sherry Shabazz in the building. Peace and love. Hotspot Casino said culture just means a way of doing things, right? Yeah, I mean your way of life, right? It's a system. Prestrev said it's a way of doing things or for development. Ashe. So I see y'all having conversations. What up, what's up, Mika? Mika said peace and love, Dr. Mott. Peace and love to you, Mika. Press Trev said people can have a way of doing things and it be negative. That's not culture or civilization, it's barbarism. Ooh, so y'all going back and forth in the chat. What's up to you, Brother Ankh? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm just trying to get this together. I heard what you said. I appreciate that. And let me kick this all the way off, man. Y'all know
Hold up, you ain't got to pull it up all the way. You ain't got to pull it up right now.
No, I ain't pulling it up right now.
Yeah.
I want to, we multi-stream, right?
Oh, so you getting it together?
Get together. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
It's my favorite Sunday show, the Doc and Unc show. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's my favorite show. Yeah, I mean, it's my favorite show on YouTube. I go back and I learn a lot.
Same here.
We have a lot of interesting guests that come on, man. And I just appreciate it. This conversation we're enthralled in is very, very interesting.
See, and shout out to Brother Jim Jones. He said Irish, yep, me also, Queen. Exactly. Go ahead, Brother Ankh.
And it's important for us to know when to get the hell off the train. I know when to get off the train. Yeah, I can admit I can be loud and proud and a loud mouth, but I know when to get off the train.
I agree.
know where
I agree.
There has to be a point where you have to have a source for what you're saying. There's a difference between how I feel about something and the source material that I had that can back that. I never want to be an individual when a person say, hey, source that up. Remember, I'm going to go get that nigga. Excuse my language. I'm going to go get that source, right? Predicate the community on getting sources, source material in an academic style. That's why it was easy man, you was talking about how easy it was for us to converse in the early days. And it wasn't hard for me to, hey, look, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying, you got it already. What you mean? I say, no. I say, leave all that stuff alone. Don't read none of that. I said, yo, you in a position where you go get the academic material. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. And that is where it's at. And those that was at the level, right? The level is having an ability to pull together a conference where different African nations come into the conference and talk about scientific ideas. Pan-Africans did that. No FBA did that yet.
Don't get into that yet, because I just kind of wanted to build. Don't get into that yet. You about to get into the build. And lineage and ethnicity over race. You said prior to 1980s, the vast majority of our ancestors made it clear that we were American Indians. That's not true. That's not true. And I'm going to leave your ignorant statement up here, lineage and ethnicity over race. And see, this is what I want to say, Ankh, before you jump into your presentation. So Carter G. Woodson, right? The father of, well, he was the father of Negro Week, which turned into, what evolved into Black History Month. Okay. And Carter G. Woodson understood the value of us knowing our history. Okay. The value of knowing our history, so much so that in this book, The Miseducation of the Negro, that he penned in 1933, he said that the education of a people starts with the people themselves. And so he went and for 40 years, he literally traveled. He traveled around. He flew places. He went places, and he studied the education system. He said from K through 12 through the university, and he studied the educational systems in various places, okay? And he noticed that we did not, our history, we were omitted. You know, we were literally, either we were omitted or information about us were distorted, right? We were viewed or treated as an inferior group of people. And so he advocated for us to know our history. He also advocated for us to know our history so that we could get an understanding of what was going on around us. You can't talk about what's going on in the present day if you don't know what happened in the past, which shaped the present day. Okay. And so he advocated for us knowing, you know, our history, right? And so what's happening today on social media, because right now technology is at our fingertips, right? We see a lot of misinformation and disinformation about us, Brother Ankh. And if we knew our history, if we was armed with our history, we wouldn't be fooled by folks with fake documentaries full of lies, documentaries full of falsehoods, with eloquent speakers, right? That's spewing misinformation. We wouldn't be fooled by those folks if we were armed with our history. And so a lot of you all say, well, Dr. Mahad, I don't know my history. I don't know my history. You know, you keep saying armed with your history. We need to know our history. And I say this to those folks. In the age of technology, ignorance is a choice. So if you don't know your history, you are choosing not to know your history because we have books. There are books available. So a lot of you are getting your information from YouTube, you're getting your information from TikTok, you're getting your information from Instagram, instead of doing the rigorous study, instead of sitting down and saying, let me read a book, right? Or let me purchase tools, credible tools, or let me enroll in programs that actually teach our history, or let me tune into credible platforms. Community of Skeptics is one, right? That's a program. That's a YouTube platform that you can tune in to learn about your history while also becoming scientifically literate, right?
Pseudo killers.
Yeah, absolutely. Pseudo killers. That's another platform, right? So tuning in, family. And so I just say that a lot of this stuff, and that's why you and I, we have these talks on offline. That's why it was very important for you to come today, to talk about Dr. Ben. And that's why I titled this, Do Foundational Black Americans Really Know and Understand Our History? Because if we did, no one would be online saying Pan-Africanism didn't do anything for us. Pan-Africanism never benefited us. Pan-Africanism is dead. If you really knew your history, saying Pan-Africanism is dead, it didn't do anything for us, Well, now you're discrediting the work of people like Booker T. Washington. Are you saying that Booker T. Washington didn't do anything for us? This brother was very instrumental in help funding, I believe it was the first Pan-African conference, in 1900. He didn't attend, but he helped facilitate it and established Tuskegee Institute down there in Alabama, who believed in independence through industry and said that he wanted to train up a master, men who are masters of men. And Sister Dr. Tareen Wright argued in her work that he is a Pan-Africanist. So when you say Pan-Africanism is dead and never did anything to us, now you're discrediting him. You're also discrediting people like W.E.B. Du Bois. You talk about the civil rights movement, but Pan-Africanism gave way for the civil rights movement. And yeah, I'm on record saying that. I want somebody to challenge me on that, which is a huge Black American or foundational Black American movement. But it was birthed, it spun from Pan-African thought, from Pan-African activism. You all should, and I land my plane, Brother Ankh, grab this book right here by Baba Imhotep, Scientific Pan-Africanism, the Redemption, Reclamation, and Restoration of Pan-Africanism, and learn the history of Pan-Africanism, what it is, what it isn't. And he goes through the history, brothers and sisters who contributed to Pan-African thought. See, if we studied and we read books and we knew our history, we wouldn't be fooled by the nonsense that's online. Brother Ankh, I land my plane.
Oh, that's a good landing space right there. I'm not even asking for people to be a ferocious reader like you are. I didn't
say ferocious. I said just read.
No. I'm saying you are a ferocious reader.
Yeah, I do.
Simple as that. Yeah. So I'm not even asking for that level. I'm not even asking for my level. My level is wake up early, right? And because that's when my mind is clear. It's clear from all the arguments I done had the previous days.
Same here.
I'm fresh. 6 o'clock in the morning, I can just read and I get off on that, right? Right? 5-10 minutes. Sometimes I slip away. It's an hour. I'm asking for African Americans to put 5 minutes in. Take your watch, put 5 minutes. Go get a basic Wikipedia on first Pan-African Conference, whatever you want to do, and just hit the 5 minutes. Look, I know everything is fast-paced, internet, and you're gonna have to fight it for a couple days, right? Because I think you talked about that there's a condition that is actually occurring while everything is going fast on the internet. It's hard for you to slow down, right? So slow down and just read that, right? Once you read that, then you'll have the basic understanding of what it is and what it's not. I've been reading this whole weekend. I can officially say I know what the hell Pan-Africanism is not. Least be able to do that. You don't want to sound crazy around a bunch of doctors, Dr. Mayat and other doctors. You don't want to sound crazy around them. You want to have a fundamental. You want to sound like Chilimbe sounded when he was up here on the panel.
Love him. I love that brother. I can tell he studies. Research
supreme. Big up the Sister Tiff, Miss Tiff, all the pseudo killers, Juju, right? You want to be able to transmit and be a science advocate. And what that means is when you're faced with new data, be ready to change your understanding around it, right? So I'm refreshed, right? And I'm telling you, I understand what Pan-Africanism isn't. I can safely say that Pan-Africanism is not based off a whole lot of lofty ideas. It's not based off a whole lot of blim, blam, blim, blam, boom. It's not based off of all African countries and people unifying. It's not even based off of that. It's saying when it's time to move on something, you have to get African countries on one accord to be able to deal with a particular goal. That's what they're really saying, that we have to come together to reach our goals. We don't need everybody.
No,
right?
Not at all.
We don't need everybody. But it's based off of tangible things that we can actually do. So today I'm going to prove to you, right, that one, nobody even understood what Pan-Africanism was or is, because it's hard. See, at the base of what it is, it's actually hard because you're talking about being able to build nations, being self-reliant, right? And self-reliant don't mean you got to do everything. Just do the things that you can do. For instance, if your country has cobalt, right, then you have to be able to cut the deal to be able to get the cobalt out the country. I mean, dug out the ground. You have to be able to make a deal that's proper. Well, I need certain infrastructures put in place. We'll need roads. We need certain villages and homes built, right? We need this done. And then I'll let you have access to that. And oh, by the way, we need training programs so that my people can take advantage of these things that we're doing. That's called African agency. And that's called being self-reliant. Being self-reliant is not being able to do every damn thing, because you might not have the parts to the tractor. If you're farming and you buy tractors from John Deere in America, you're going to have some type of trade relations with America to get the parts for the daggone tractor. Until you can get to the point where you can build your own tractors, have your own steel mills with producing steel and stuff like that, right? Pan-Africanism is really a simple idea. That get together and work with each other. That's it. It ain't even, we make it harder than what it is, bro. And guess what? The part I love the most is that parts of it was elevating what we now doing today, Doc.
Science, technology, engineering, mathematics. I want to put a pin in this. Seven Mingo said we need to know our family history. I agree with that 1,000%. I believe that's where it starts, but then it goes beyond just knowing your family history. I just wanted to put that out there. Keep going, Brother Ankh.
So, yeah. So when people are giving these lofty ideas of all of Africa unifying, that's not true Pan-Africanism, yo. You can go to Wikipedia and it's scientific ideas. I'm not never working with white people. That wouldn't be Pan-Africanism. It's not what it's saying. It's obvious. I'm going to bring detailed records that's not obvious. A big up to Brother Chilembe. Some things he sent me to force me to read and force me to study.
Yeah, Brother Ankh, let me ask you a question though. Is this one of your people lineage, ethnicity over race? Because this person is gone. I mean, like.
No, that's the FB. You mean like the FBA thing? Like
no,
what?
That's somebody that thinks they are Indian and people tracing their lineage back to India.
Oh no, that ain't one of my people.
I thought that's one of your people. Then they saying Pan-Africanism, spend all this time studying Africa. That's not what Pan-Africanism is either.
Yeah,
that's not Pan-Africanism lineage. Yeah. So you jumping out there and you're making statements from a position of ignorance. But go ahead, Brother Ankh.
I know this
person is wild.
He's a Native American.
Oh man, please
if
continue.
If he studied some of the conferences, say for instance, right? And let's take the foundational Black Americans, right? If the foundational Black Americans, if they took the time to read some Pan-African documents, they would not be making the mistakes that they make on the subject matter of being able to, how we say it, quote unquote, understand where our role is in being in America. And the source I will use would be, let me see, I couldn't knock that source.
Brother Ankh, let me ask you a question, because I want to lay this claim to rest. Top Flight TV. He said, why don't y'all do a show on why y'all just don't see, please see the you can't even write. Why y'all just don't Tariq on the show? I guess you said invite him. Tariq actually has been on my platform. So this is what I want you to do, Top Flight TV. What I want you to do is go to YouTube, type in Dr. Ma'at and Tariq Nasheed. He's actually been on this program. I've actually been in a couple of his movies. Okay. And so then you're also saying y'all clearly throw shots at that brother. Brother Ankh, have I thrown any shots?
No, that's me.
Brother. Yeah, no, yeah, that's what. No, because I'm just wondering. I'm questioning people's listening comprehension skills. No, but Brother Ankh, have I ever threw a shot at Tariq or said any ill, negative things about Tariq? Then I said that I've disagreed with his points, but Top Flight TV, I've called him. See, before I do YouTube, see, you talking to a real sister right here. I don't come on YouTube and talk about behind people's back. Things that I've disagreed with Tariq about, since you wanted Tariq's minions, with things that I disagree with Tariq about, I actually call him and tell him. We have a conversation. We don't see eye to eye on a number of things, but I don't disrespect that brother, nor do I throw shots at that brother. Not at all. I appreciate what he does, the positive, the good that he's done. I don't destroy that brother. I don't talk about that brother. And I mean, am I lying about? Have I said anything negative or nasty or throw shots at that brother?
I never lied on him. He got pseudo documentaries.
No, I'm talking about me right now.
No, I said no. You've never lied on him. I'm saying I'm the one.
No, disrespected him. That's what I mean. I didn't mean to say lie.
Y'all cool. You talk to him like, look, that's bull crap. Just because you think that indigenous black people was in America, that's your fault for not being able to read and write. That's your fault. That's not our fault. That's your fault that you can't read, right? That you won't read, say, a Pan-African document that clearly details the prehistory of Africa. It's called the Pan-African Congress of Prehistory. Y'all didn't know that. They established a scientific discipline on that. Y'all didn't know the Pan-Africans was doing that? They had sections of geology, paleontology, general paleontology, and climatology. Like, what do we? So yeah, I never hear that. Yeah, that's part of Pan-Africanists too, being able to contribute to their own story. Y'all didn't know that? So if Tariq and them read that document, right, instead of talking crazy about it, right, then they would have known that it was a mistake and a misstep to say that there's an indigenous black people in America prior to Africans from Africa arriving during the slave trade. There is no ethnogenesis between African Americans or Africans that was enslaved and brought to the continent. I mean, brought to the Americas with a group, an indigenous black group. There's no such thing as that. That's made up. It's indigenous North Americans, right? Native Americans, enslaved Africans, and Europeans. And that forms what we call African Americans. And under the banner of African Americans, you can say foundational, because when they get right down to it, when it's time to get the money, you're talking about people that their grandparents and them and great-great-great-great-grandparents was actually enslaved, not the people that came over after that. So we can make that distinction without arguing with each other, right? So instead of pulling things apart, right, the two actually help the things. And it's just crazy for me. And it's called education. It's called what we talk about. Why y'all got to be the center in Africa? Well, in any book based in paleontology, right? Okay. See, this is where they get it wrong. See, we have a few books based in anthropology, right? We don't just have one. We have several college level books on anthropology, and guess where they start at? They center humanity around Africa. So you mad at a group of African Americans and African people in the continent of Africa that was doing it before it was proper amongst white people to do it. See, that's the proper thing to do amongst college level students these days and professors now. That's the proper thing to do. In 1947, it wasn't. Okay, in 1947, it wasn't proper. Now it's proper, but it's made proper because of Pan-African movements. See, they don't know that. See, they talk crazy. They talk reckless and disrespectful.
Yeah, and I'm looking, Nikki, I appreciate your input, sweetie. But don't make definitive or declarative statements from a position of ignorance. So you said, I'm not against Pan-Africanism, but they're not doing it in Africa. They actually are. And I'm just going to give you one example to help you out. I want you to Google the Alliance of the Sahel States, right? The AES, and then come back to the conversation. Go ahead, Brother Ankh.
Did you want to pull that up though?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I can. I mean, I can. It's the alliance.
You got the president Burkina Faso.
Exactly.
He's a Pan-African. He's playing the game at the highest level now. He's saying, you know what? I'm not comfortable with the French. Get the F out. That's what real nations do. They put you out when your business interests don't align. You put them out, and they found another partner that they aligned themselves with. They're allies with Russia. This is an important alliance for them. They could choose America. They could choose China, right? They could choose the French, the British. They chose Russia. So now you just can't, the United States can't play with them. Meaning you can't just go over there and try to usurp the government, because now when you do that, now they got help from Russia. Right. That's a great move. And they're going to cut proper deals for weapons, which we need. They're going to cut proper deal for infrastructure, which they need. That's how you do it. Right? That's Pan-Africanism right there in front of your face in 2025. Right there.
Yeah, I just wanted to Google it,
Right
brother
there.
Ankh. I just wanted to
Yeah,
Google
that
it,
up.
you know, and that's why I said it's just one example. I don't want to
Right
do it.
here
It's a
in America.
sister.
Can we? Do you mind if I humbly just use what we're doing as an example?
Okay,
That
please,
program is
please,
called Conscious Ingenuity. I say
please.
it all the time. Dr. Mian is a Pan-African. She has STEM programs for people to look like you and me. We got a paper, right? We got a paper talking about STEM learning for African-centered STEM learning.
Come
Right?
on.
We like man, y'all like I don't understand people who don't do nothing talking about what somebody else do. And it's just ignorant. It's clear ignorance. Nobody's saying that everybody gotta be paying. Nope. What we're saying is respect the level.
That's right.
Go ahead, pull up. What you got?
No. I just recommended it to the sister. Just told her to you
Yeah, it's
know
right
to
there. You can look up the
yeah, she could look that. Yeah, she could look it up.
What?
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to even waste time on it, brother. Go and get to your presentation
So
though.
my presentation, I want to start. I want to. Should I start with Dr. Ben first, or should I start with the early Pan-African Congresses?
So since we on the Pan-African wave, let's give them that history. Because again, a lot of people don't know that history, and a lot of that history that you talk about, the Pan-African Conference in 1900, the Pan-African Congresses. If you want to learn about it, grab this book, family, and I'll make sure I put a link to grab the book in the description of this video. But please go ahead, brother Ankh.
All right. So, okay. Let me I think I have this right here before I want to show the source right here. All right. And big up to Chilembe. All right. I'm using this source material.
And King Simon, look, shout out to King Simon. He said that's Ankh's job. So he's saying I don't disrespect Ankh come through with that. That's
my job. And I don't and the point is how is it disrespect if I'm telling you the truth based off of scientific information, based off of Pan-African findings? How about
Jesus, lineage, and ethnicity over race. Y'all gotta get out the chat. Because he's like, how has Pan-Africanism changed us for the better? Did you not hear that Pan-African thought drove the civil rights movement? Then ask yourself, how did the civil rights movement impact you politically, socially, and economically? All right, I'm out the chat. I'm out the chat. Go ahead, brother. It's up there. It's up there.
So this is the what? That's Pan-African Archaeology Association. Oh, y'all didn't know that existed, huh? They didn't know it existed, man. Pan-African Archaeological Association, the PAA, is a Pan-African professional organization for archaeologists, geologists, and paleoanthropologists. The association was founded by Louis Leakey. Most African Americans don't know who the hell Louis Leakey is. Dr. Leakey. Like he found that particular Australopithecine, okay, and that was important to understanding human evolution, because what it did was, for the first time in the record, we found somebody that was a habitual walker. They call it habitual bipedalism. Okay, it's a Louis Leakey. Look, and its first Congress was held at Nairobi. That's in Kenya, in 1947. So in 1947, right, we got Dr. Leakey. He's like the chairperson of a Pan-African Association. Let me put this right here. Let me show you this right here. Here you go. Can you see it, Doc?
Yes, I see it.
It's a Pan-African Congress on Prehistory, Nairobi. This is the actual document. See, we read documents and source material around here. And you see this name right here, the organizing and General Secretary, Dr. L.S.B. Leakey. See? So all Pan-Africans is hounding about ain't no evolution, Charles Darwin, monkey stuff, then you're not really following Pan-African anything. Because they based in, look, geology is right here, right? Paleontology, climatology. Look, section 2, human paleontology. I'm not going to read all the names, but these are the people that was actually chairing and actually teaching right there. Prehistory and archaeology. So African people African Americans should be interested in archaeology. That's why I taught the damn thing. We're supposed to be interested in that, right? Then you move to here. Rules of the Constitution. All right there. We're not going to read that. Keep moving. Pan-African prehistory shall meet for 4 years, every 4 years, and such other intervals and circumstances shall, let me see, dictate. Hold on, let's keep moving. Okay, we come here. Prehistory and archaeology, that's section A. Prehistory and archaeology, all right, human paleontology, and any other section deemed necessary. Okay, let's keep moving. They have resolutions. So if you are what do you call it? The foundational Black Americans, and y'all been going to conference, ask somebody, can we get a copy of the minutes? We want to be able to see what they was talking about at the conference y'all went to. If you don't have the minutes or secretaries or people recording what's going on, then you don't really have something that's professionally on this type of level. I'm not saying it's okay to do conferences. We have fun. We meet each other. I've been there. I enjoyed myself at some of those conferences with Tariq and them, Foundation Black America. Right here in Atlanta, they had it. It was probably a super spread event because it was during the damn pandemic and people didn't have on masks. But I don't want to talk about that because, see, I'm the guy to throw the shade, right? But it's the truth. Okay? And so they talk about as a result of meeting the first African Pan-African prehistory held in Nairobi, right? And they talk about the attendance, growing recognition of educational and scientific importance of this subject. Y'all wouldn't even think it was important. Yes, the subject is important. They talk about different surveys in Egypt and the Congo, and the Belgium Congo and South Africa, how important this is for us to know this material right here. Okay, resolution 2. I'm gonna make sure y'all get access to this, maybe. Because I don't even think y'all really want it, right? So you got resolutions. We know what resolutions are. They're trying to figure out problems. They're trying to figure out what is needed. All right. And if you move a little bit farther, we get past that real quick, real fast. Let me just keep moving.
And while you moving, shout out to Sister Cotty. The students are watching. Look at it. Morgan State is in the building. We tuning in to Dr. Ma'at.
Big up to Morgan State.
So Morgan State's in the building. University students are watching. They're learning and they're growing. Go ahead, brother. Ankh.
So they're talking about the physical survey of existing African populations. All right, this is important for African people to do. They need to survey their populations, man. We don't need colonialism in Africa doing that for us. It doesn't happen in America, y'all. That's why the whole archaeology thing was messed up. That's why the whole Egyptian conversation was messed up, because they gave you a European cookie cutter model, whereas though they felt like that towns and cities started from mounds. Some of these mounds they had, and when you go to Mesopotamia and those areas, Western Asia, you see these big piles of mounds. What it is villages on top of villages. When one village go out, another village they build it on top. Over time, you get these big mounds. And so they felt like when they looked to Africa, when they looked to the Nile Valley, they didn't see these mounds. So they were saying that they came into civilization earlier, that their townships was older. Guess what they found out? That's not actually how we did it. We had mobile communities. You can go to Nabta Playa, is a mobile community at about 7,000 BCE, where they have proto-astronomy. It's the oldest such device in human history at this point. Not to say they won't find something else, but right now, that is, quote unquote, the birthplace of proto-astronomy, which would later on lead to astronomy. Okay? The scientific. So right here, early on, right, it's a need for us to understand these things. And Africans got to do that. It's just like being in your house. You don't need nobody to come in your house and tell you what it is. You need to know what it is in your house. You need to learn.
That's right. That's right.
It's important.
That's right.
Okay. Publication of scientific reports. They was publication of scientific reports. This is also essential. Why do you see a lot of Pan-Africans talking crazy about science? Because they're not really representing the thing for real. They playing with it. That's why. And so people are getting frustrated saying, why I ain't doing that? I say, well, just look at Dr. Ma'at and them. Look at Deborah Hurd and them. Right? Look at those people. Stop looking to the people who just doing a YouTube thing.
Come on, you better teach.
But I'm giving you a reality here. Okay. Right. And
Teach.
so this is all here. Okay. All this is here. It's just important for people to recognize that, right? This is a real conference on it. Y'all see it. I'm not making it up. And it's just essential. All right. The proceedings of the first Pan-African Congress, prehistory. That's 1947, yo. In 1947, yo, your great grandmother them had the white Jesus on their walls, y'all. Y'all didn't know that? Let me stop.
Yeah, and shout out to my girl Nikki. Yo, she said she Googled it, and see, Nikki, that's what intellectuals do, right? Like you may have you may have a position on something, and then when you're presented with information, you go, you vet the information, you examine it, you vet it, and then if that information contradicts what you believe, then you adjust. That's what true intellectuals do. That's what true intellectuals do. Brother Ankh and I, we do it all the time. I might have a certain position on something, and I'm solid on it. And then Ankh argue me down. I argue him down, and then he be right. I gotta call him back. Ankh, you was right on that. Same thing with him. He may have a strong position on something. He and I have, we battle it out, and he say, you know what? I see what you said. You were right about that. That's what intellectual people do. We spar, and we make the necessary adjustments. All right, here we go, brother Ankh.
So the first Pan-African Congress, prehistory. So these Pan-African people were actually producing scientific material, right? For the first time with Africans actually doing it. Historical scientific context, right? So I do this for the scientific advocacy. Historical context held in Nairobi, Kenya. Talked about that. Organized by Leakey. Okay, Dr. Leakey, look him up. He actually started the Nairobi Museum, and he put in a rule that only one European can serve on the board, that the Kenyans must be in charge of their own museum.
Come on, teach.
All right, he was born and raised in Kenya. He went to a Kenyan school, and he spoke the indigenous language. He's more African than y'all. Wow, it's wild. It says organized by Leakey during the late colonial period, reflecting post-World War II spirit of international scientific collaboration. Early cognitions of African prehistory as a scientific field. Early recognition of African prehistory as a scientific field. Y'all didn't know that. Y'all didn't know that early African prehistory is actually a scientific field put forth by Pan-Africans. Y'all didn't know that, right? Yeah, how many of y'all knew that? Limited African participation, but set the stage for later exclusions. Let me keep going. It's a 2, scientific context. Defined African prehistory as a formal discipline. Leakey emphasized Africa as the cradle of humankind. I just want y'all to know that right now you got people to think, right? And I'm not beating up the Christians and the Muslims, but I guess I'm beating up the Christians and the Muslims. They actually think we come from the Garden of Eden. If you're a Christian, you think we come from the Garden of Eden, right? If you're a Black Hebrew Israelite, you think we come from the Garden of Eden. If you're a Muslim, you think we come from the Garden of Eden. You actually think that Adam and Eve is your primary ancestor. Okay, enough of that. It says topics, hominids, fossils, Stone Age cultures, rock art. Y'all know that's my favorite subject. Ethnography. It's a pre-radiocarbon era. So y'all know Shigant Diab's had a radiocarbon dating lab, and he will participate in one of these conferences. Y'all didn't know that. Pre-radiocarbon era relies on stratigraphy and topology. It's a cross-continental comparisons highlighted Africa's diversity. We talk about it all the time. Scientific is importance. Position Africa at the center of human origins. One of the first international scientific meetings on Africa. Built foundations for later Pan-African prehistory congresses. Enhanced methodological rigor in archaeology. Promoted data sharing across the regions. That's why it's important for Pan-Africanism, because we can share data if we're friendly towards each other. 4.
Hold on, brother Ankh. Because I don't want the misinformation in the chat. You said the first conference was held in Chicago in 1893. He's talking about the Pan-African Can you go to the title of this particular So it was the first Pan-African Congress on prehistory, brother.
On prehistory.
Prehistory, Garvey Garrison. So he didn't say the first Pan-African Conference or first Pan-African Congress. He said the first Pan-African Congress on prehistory. So we gotta, we gotta make sure we know what we're talking about. Go ahead, brother Ankh. I just wanted to be clear because I didn't want him to confuse anybody in the chat. Please continue, brother Ankh.
All right. Okay. The cultural. Okay. What's the importance of it? Since y'all people don't think that's important. Cultural and political importance challenged Eurocentric views on Africa as ahistorical, set a precedent for decolonizing historical narratives, symbolized Pan-African scientific cooperation, inspired future African scholars like Cheikh Diop and Key Zebo. Why it matters today? Because everybody, why it matters today? It counters the myth of Africa lacking history. It demonstrates science as a tool of liberation. Y'all know that's why we do what we do, right? I can speak for myself. I always say scientific literacy as a tool, yo, to get your history right. It advocates for global science literacy, shows Africa's central role in human story, reminder of science's power to reshape narratives. And we always got the sources here. We don't play the game without sources.
And brother Ankh, speaking of sources, a brother said, is Wikipedia a valid source? I don't use Wikipedia. And I told brother Ankh this 10 years ago. I'm not a Wikipedia person. He said he likes to start with Wikipedia and move and move to, because you had put up Wikipedia earlier and he was like, John said, well, is Wikipedia a valid source? I don't use Wikipedia. I use journals and I use conferences, and books, scholarly books. But Ankh's always said, well, he said, I like the Wikipedia, and then he'll start there and he'll validate or he'll vet the sources that are presented in whatever he's looking at. But I don't use Wikipedia. I just wanted to put that out there. Go ahead,
that your students
I don't let my students use Wikipedia. No. I mean, but if Ankh want to use it and he vetted the sources, I mean, that's his prerogative. Go ahead, brother Ankh.
Yeah, let me stop screen sharing. Let me show you this real fast. So for me, right, the reason I use Wikipedia, because remember, you only got 5 minutes to read. Remember that? I said we only want 5 minutes to read. Remember I said that, right? Put that up, Doc. So if you don't got 5 minutes, man, I'm trying to get you to the bottom of the page, yo. That's all I'm trying to do. Trying to get you to the bottom of the page. But what you do is you would do this. You will click this on, see, and then you would click this, bam. All right, and then you would come to this. Voila. Voila. Now the great doctor will accept this from you.
Yeah, I would accept that. He already know. If he sent me Wikipedia, I'd be like, nope. But if he bring me this, I would.
Can't do it. She's like, nope, don't even do it. So I just get here and do what she said. All right, got it, no problem. Okay. So, man, how many of us actually understood that for the day? Now y'all have been faced with more information. You would have to change your opinion. Now you can say, well, there's a lot of people misrepresenting that, but Dr. Mayad ain't never misrepresented on this channel. She know we go back and forth, right? She's never did that, right? The doctors that she bring up here talking about Pan-Africanism never do that. They have scholarly sources. They talk about it. They're educating you. We don't have respect for education like we should.
No, we don't.
Right? And then for you to take Umar Johnson, who's the prince of Pan-Africanists, and Garvey, who's the king of Pan-Africanists, we gotta slow that down. These guys were very charismatic speakers. Okay. Let me separate Garvey from Umar Johnson. I want to do that right now. So I'm not bashing Garvey. Okay. What I'm saying is that he was dealing with like the farmers, the people that's working every day over regular hard jobs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they were.
Right. So he spoke to them with "I'm be back in the whirlwind." He hit you with the religious slick. You know what I mean? Very charismatic, right? Africa for the Africans. And so like a YouTube personality, they can excite you. And he used, watch this, he used social media, not social media, he used newspapers. He advertised, he wrote, had his own newspaper. So now he can get material out, right? He took an already existing audience that Hubert Harrison had. I think, did he take, who else audience he may have taken?
Booker T, he took a lot of, a
Man,
lot
so
of
he
folks.
running around, look, I'm not going to say nothing negative on this program like that.
Yeah, Booker T.
I'm not going to do it. But
he took Booker T. He took Booker T. Washington's model, the Tuskegee model. He was inspired by Up From Slavery.
Yeah. You're right, Kyle. Wikipedia is an encyclopedia. It's not a source. It contains sources. Absolutely appreciate that. Big up to Kyle. Big Kyle. Man, this man routinely send support first. He supports, first of all. But not only do he support, he's always trying to find jobs for African Americans, man. I'm not going to say the guy's name that he helped immensely with finding him a job. Like I ain't talking about the regular job, like solid careers. Let's big up to that, yo. All right. Dr. Ben, maybe Anthony Broder or Pseudo. So that's C-Dot.
Talk about Dr.
Ben. We're gonna get into that C-Dot. And big up to C-Dot here in the server. We we wrestling right now. But I'm saying it's not personal, C-Dot, it's just business. And I don't got no ill feelings towards you. And I'm saying alive right now. We just wrestle rough at times. But I don't actually dislike you. I dislike Chief X. He a B. See? But I don't feel that way about you, C-Dot. I think you have a strong opinion, and I think we could learn from each other. We just got to take our time and restructure it. All right? And that's what that is. And so Dr. Ben is not pseudo. It's people continuing to promote the information that was wrong of the pseudos. You supposed to promote the things he got right and stand on that. He got a street named after him for that. He got his book in the Met Museum for that. Stand on what they got right. Right? The things they got wrong, like everybody, like Copernicus. To his death, he thought that the planets had a certain rotation that they did not. And nobody even knows about that. You know why? Because nobody's out here promoting that. You feel me? You get my point. You get my point, Doc. Nobody's promoting the things that Copernicus got wrong.
No, and I talk about Ben Franklin. He got it wrong. Ben
hit him with that.
I just talked about that in my latest paper. He talked about electricity and it being due to the flow of electrons, but he had he thought that they flowed from positive to negative, but in actuality, electrons flow one way, the protons flow another way. So he got the convention wrong, right? But he's still regarded as the father of electricity, in spite of. And I actually had this in my new paper where I talk about this. But yet and still, Europeans still revere him as the father of electricity. They didn't just throw his work away. They merely just noted that it was incorrect. And what's crazy though, brother Ankh, I had to say this. They noted that it was incorrect. But in electrical engineering textbooks, and Miss Carter, you're in the chat or you're watching, in electrical engineering textbooks, they still use his convention. They call it the passive sign convention. So they still promote that charge or electricity flows from positive to negative, even though when you get into the nitty gritty, electrons flow in the opposite direction of the protons, but they actually still use his convention. But they note that his idea or concept was incorrect, but for standardization, they still use the passive sign convention. But keep going, brother Ankh.
All right, share the screen. So we're gonna get into Dr. Ben, and then we want to, Doc, I know you probably want to open up the lines. Okay, we're gonna deal with the great Dr. Ben. All right, his main claims, his criticisms, and cultural political impact. I think this is important. Main claims: ancient Egypt, Kemet, was an African civilization, not separate from sub-Saharan Africa. Egypt's contribution shaped Greek, Roman, and Western civilization. Judaism, Christianity borrowed heavily from earlier Egyptian spirituality. Eurocentric scholarship deliberately minimized Africa's role in history. Work like the Black Men in the Nile framed Egypt within the Pan-African context. Criticism from mainstream academia. Accused of historical overreach and oversimplification. Lack of peer-reviewed publications in academic Egyptology. Claims about Egypt's identifying as Black seen as anachronistic. Arguments of direct plagiarism between Egypt, religion, and Christianity disputed. Critics label aspects of his work as Afrocentric revisionism or pseudo-history. Cultural and political impact. Central figure for Afrocentric scholarship and Pan-Africanism. Collaborated with John Henry Clark, Chancellor Williams, and others. Led educational tours to Egypt for African Americans. Empowered marginalized communities with African-centered historical narratives. Inspired generations of African-centered schools and activists. Helped challenge Eurocentric control of historical discourses. And we got all our sources, which are very, very important. And so I would like to bring this artifact to you, okay? So you can get the gravitude of who this man is.
The gravity, Ankh.
The gravity. I say gravitude. You can't say that?
Yeah, you said the gratitude. Yes, the gravity.
Gravity. That's not a word. Gravitude. No.
Gravitude is not a word. Gravity. The gravity of who he is.
I made it up though. Gravity.
You made it up. It's all good. We make up words all the time. I do it all the time. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I make it up all the time. I butcher. You know, we from Baltimore. We do that. From Baltimore, we butcher the words. People listening say I didn't butcher it. I always
you're a wordsmith though. So you're a word. You love words.
But I'll butcher them too.
Yeah. All right, let me stop. All right, here you go. All right, I want to come to the Met. All right, and let's come to the Met. Okay. So we look at the Met. This is the Met. The Met. All right. And we scroll through some of these exhibits, right? Okay. We come here, right here. We click on that. Black Man in the Nile and his family. Akabulan Press. So this man's work, you can find it in the Met. And this is important. It's important because it shows the respect that other people are giving to Dr. Ben when our own communities refuse to give him that respect. I don't understand that, and I never will.
No.
I don't understand how the man get a street named after him, how a man's work end up in a Met. And I'm not saying it's in a Met because it's a scholarly work. I'm saying it's in a Met because it made a difference to our damn community, right, wrong, or indifferent. And inspired generations. It inspired me. Right? That's why it's in the damn Met. Right? It's in the Met amongst paintings of Van Gogh and other great scholars. And people say, well, Van Gogh. So I would say, was Dr. Ben more important to African Americans in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and 70s than Van Gogh? I'm saying, of course he was. Of course he was, because we talking time periods when your ass wasn't even lit in a damn museum to see a Van Gogh painting. You have to be a damn art student of some type. But Dr. Ben actually still pushes on the education of our people today. He just do. He didn't need to have a quote unquote degree. Why? Because he wasn't an academic. His work is not a scholarly work. Stop saying it. It's a work, it's a community work. Like when I produce work, you know what I'm saying, outside of that scientific, that article, right? The document, you know what I'm saying, push for and help put together all the way, right? That's different than when I write a book. It's not an academic. I use academic source like that. I get it from Dr. Ben. You know, my small book pamphlet, whatever you want to call it, is based off of his book. It's based off of Dr. Ben's work, chronology of, it's called Chronology of Human Evolution. He wrote the book, Chronology of the Bible. So he inspired me. Now the question is, well, why did he inspire you? Well, since nobody wants to actually take a look, right, in Dr. Ben's book, then let's come to Dr. Ben's book. In Dr. Ben's book right here, he talks about Charles Darwin. Matter of fact, I ain't even gonna like hard reading material right here, but he's writing it for the community. He's talking about Sir Charles Darwin, Charles Darwin, scientist of note, in his own right, wrote articles entitled "Next Million Years." He's talking about that. Then he goes down. He talks about archaeological finds that he found. Hold on, let me see. Hold on, real quick. Hold on, let me see. Real fast. On why the man ain't important. It's crazy. He's talking about stuff at a time period when nobody's even talking about that, man. Ain't nobody talking about this stuff right here. By 1865, it say a mad rush for further discovery of the prehistoric man. It say was in full force. It say the high point was reached with Sir Charles Darwin. Published his work, the book of it say the Origins of Man, followed by Darwin's and Huxley, Darwin's faithful follower. Nobody's talking about Darwin. Nobody's talking about 8 men in our community, different followers. If you look at this page right here, I'll make it bigger for you, and I'm gonna end it right here. Just look at this page right here. Now I understand why people don't understand Pan-African, what the Pan-African really mean. Now I understand it because it's hard. Now I understand why they don't understand the Dr. Ben's book, because it's hard. It's words on here that you're gonna stumble through. I'm gonna let Juju. We're gonna do something else. I'm gonna let Juju stumble through the words. I already stumbled through them. Australopithecus, Zenthopithecus, Boise. Yeah, I got that from right here. So, I mean, I don't know why people, do what they do and talk that talk, what they talk that talk. I mean, I guess they do it because it's the internet and you can say anything you want to say. Like he giving you pages of time periods when they found different fossils. I mean, I don't know what to say. Homo capsensis. Look. Patheropithecus fossil. I can't even say it. Hell, I ain't gonna do it. My point is, I get why y'all don't get it. I get it. It's hard. We all do. And I'm gonna finish with this, Doc. The easy road is to study the religious part.
Come on.
That's the easy road. The hard road is to talk about the real nation building and the scientific endeavor, and to talk about the prehistory. So these Pan-Africans actually, for the first time, they credited with starting the scientific discipline. So how many of y'all did that? How many of y'all organizations did that? As FBA, do they have start a scientific discipline? No, they're actually anti-science. Yeah, they say there's a indigenous black people in America prior to African slaves coming over, and there's an ethnogenesis between indigenous black people and the African slaves and the Native Americans. That's anti-scientific explanation of the works that the ancestors put forth. That's pseudoscientific. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying is that the foundation of Pan-Africanism is based off of science and science literacy, and they proved they matzi by creating a whole scientific discipline, Doc, by bringing the foremost authority to chair the damn meeting and to set up the thing, to make sure that African leaders and African people would be interested in understanding archaeology, climatology, and all the rest. There you have it. So I'm waiting. Don't talk me to death. I don't want to hear what it's doing today. I don't want to hear none of that. Go get that. Go get the source that says FBA has started a scientific discipline. Go get your source that say the FBA got a Dr. Ben book in the damn museum. All y'all detract, go get that. That's what I'm at.
But I do want to say this. A lot of people who identify with FBA, I'm not going to say a lot. I don't want to quantify it. But there are people who identify as FBA, but they don't subscribe to the, I think some folks fall into my box.
Yes.
And they're saying like, hey, I feel affinity for the term, but I don't subscribe to the misinformation and disinformation associated with that term. And so I just want to make sure that we distinguish between an affinity for, a term, like I can see that, I can, but this part, because we don't want to, I'm not a black and white person. I used to be. No. I used to be. Out of my ignorance in my 20s, it was either this or that. And as I've gotten older, I realize that it can be some gray. It can be some gray. It ain't always, if you believe that, then you gotta believe. Nah. So I don't want to, you may feel like that about brothers and sisters who identify as FBA, that they pseudo, they claim this, they claim that, they claim this, they claim that. And I know what you're going off of because you've laid out your position. You've shown clips of Brother Tariq, laying out what he calls a foundational Black American.
Mhm.
So I see that. When I think of foundational, my concept of what I think or believe a foundational Black American to be, it differs. And and that's my right. That's my prerogative. His position is his position. My position is my position. I do want to say this though, Brother Ankh. Lineage and ethnicity over race. You just argued us down that we're African, that we're Native Americans, and then you say that you love Dr. Ben. So lineage and ethnicity over race. I'm putting the link in the chat. I want you, brother or sister, because I don't know, you could be a brother, could be a sister. I want you to click that link, lineage and ethnicity over race. Click the link and come on in. I really want to hear you out because now I'm confused. So on one end, you say we are Native Americans. We trace our lineage there. We can trace our lineage. It's some documentation. It's been out like that since the 1980s. Then you turn around and say you love Dr. Ben. I'm confused. And I would love for you to come up here and state your position. Brother Ankh and I aren't going to attack you. We really want to hear you out. We want to hear you out, brother or sister. Okay. C Dot, if you want to come on in. C Dot, if you want to come on in to spice it up, come on in. C Dot. He said Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, Idi Amin, Booker T. Washington, W. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, and many more had ideas that I don't agree with. That's fine. I mean, that's your prerogative. I would never throw their names in the dirt, though. Just me. Yeah, I mean, exactly, C Dot. I mean, like I said, it's different people that put out different ideas, and some I agree with, some I don't. And that's your right. That's your prerogative. That is your prerogative. Because I don't agree with it all either. Even today, there's some folks. That's why Dr. Mod is not in any organization, but my own organization. Because some of the stuff, I'm building with this. Some of your stuff I agree with, some stuff I don't. I show love to all Black organizations, right? But I'm not a part of all Black organizations, a lot of Black organizations, because like you said, some stuff I just disagree with. And that's my right. So I want you to see that. Go on and click that link. Go ahead and click that link. Also, shout out to Mike. And Mike, I was thinking about it too when you wrote it in the text. Julius Malema, I probably butchered his name. The brother that's doing work down in South Africa. That brother that's doing work down in South Africa. He's a Pan-Africanist too. Yep, Julius Malema or Malema. He is a Pan-Africanist too. He's always constantly talking about tearing down the borders and the constant need for everybody to unite. His organization is the Economic Freedom Fighters, the EFF. It's a South African. They say it's a South African communist. Okay, he's a South African communist and a Black nationalist political party that he founded in 2013. So this brother, he's an advocate. He's a Pan-Africanist. All right. So I just want to put that out there to the sister Nikki O, when she says Pan-Africanism isn't happening on the continent. I also want to bring to your attention the AU. Hold on. The AU, the African Union. Hold on. Let me type that up. These are quick Google searches. So when you say stuff like, you can go to ChatGPT and ask if Pan-Africanism is practiced on the continent and see what, matter of fact, Brother Ankh, do that. So it says the African Union is a continental union. Hold on. Wait a minute, Brother Ankh. Wait a minute. I see you in the back, CJ. I'm going to add you right now. Wait a minute. Someone said, Julius Malema is my dude. So the African Union is a continental union. Isn't that Pan-Africanism? Doesn't the word pan mean all? So it says it's a continental union of 55 member states. Wait a minute, Brother Ankh. 55 member states located where? On the continent. The AU was announced to the Sirte Declaration in Sirte, Libya on 9 September 1999. calling for the establishment of the African Union. It says the bloc was launched So guys, when you know, ladies and gentlemen, when you say stuff like Pan-Africanism isn't happening, it's not practiced on the continent, again, Google AES, right? The Sahel Alliances, Google Julius Malema, Google the African Union. And these are just little tidbits that Doc is giving you. Tidbits. Go and Google that stuff. Then come back and join the conversation. Okay. Read a book, right? Read a book. Okay. Read a book. All right. Then come back and join the conversation. Brother C. Dot, you have the floor, brother.
All right. How you doing, Miss Dr. Mayat?
Peace and love
Brother
to you,
Ankh?
warrior. Peace and love to
How
you.
y'all
Yo,
doing?
brother, how you doing, man?
All right, for sure. Yeah, and man, there's no problem with you, man. Like I said, I'm really truly trying to practice this Pan-Africanism, and part of that is learning how to love Black people. I
Appreciate
think
that.
the initial part of that is learning how to accept ideas and cultures and things that might not necessarily always be aligned with what I know or what I've learned growing up. So that's a huge part of Pan-Africanism, is to be able to accept outside ideology or outside ideas that will benefit Black people's progression. So that's the main part that I agree with.
Okay.
I take pieces from each individual that I might call my ancestors, like Marcus Garvey, like the people I named in the chat. Also, Julius Malema, I respect that brother a lot. I also include people like Wody Maya, who's probably younger than me, but I respect what he does for Pan-Africanism as far as getting people to love us. So I think that's one of the most important parts of Pan-Africanism that you have to adopt in order to be Pan-African. And, coming from where I come from, it's a complete turnaround from my thoughts and the way that I used to engage with other Black people around me. So I think it's a positive thing for depending on who you introduced by. I was introduced by Dr. Ben, and also actually I give a lot of credit to Anthony Browder for actually just introducing the ideas that actually made me want to go and research and see what it was about. So I encourage people to actually go through the list of many Pan-Africanists over these last 125 years or so, and really gravitate towards what all of their missions was. And at the end of the day, it was for the unification of Black people, or the African diaspora. So that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, no, brother C. Dot, I appreciate that, brother Ankh. You go ahead, because I want to answer this comment, but go ahead and respond to brother C. Dot.
You're gonna say this is weird, C. Dot. I was actually in support of you in the damn chat. I'm saying in the thing. I was fighting against my man and them. I just need you to concede on some points. I'm conceding. Doc, no. I had to take a step back off of Pan-Africanism a little bit and take a refresher course and really get to the nitty-gritty of it. So I feel like if I can concede, then everybody around me need to concede on their points. And I felt like, I'm not saying you was doing it, but I just simply felt like that the president of Burkina Faso, like you said eloquently, that he represents Pan-Africanism. There's no denying that. What I was saying was he also represents African agency and playing the game at the highest level, where in the middle of business, you remove the French, yo. You remove a colonial power based off of their business dealings with you and the damn people, and how they more so support the French than his country. Revolution style. And he get another ally, which I know you maybe agreed on, I'm not sure. You get another, and Russia. But that's playing the game at the highest level. I studied the works of Queen Nzinga, right? I don't even got the book right here. I study these works, and this is, and it's about, the book is about politics and all that, of an African leader during the time of colonialism when it was there. She's an African leader supreme, and I seen what the hell he was doing. I seen her and him. Like, no, first of all, just because I'm aligning with Russia, allies with Russia, don't mean that I agree with their ideology. Don't mean that I think we really friends. Don't mean none of that. Because like you said, there's a, you know, like Dr. John Henry Clark said, like, we had no friends, right? But so Nzinga recognized that, right? But she still had the ability to have allies because it's important. It's important for Africa to find great trading partners. It's important for us to make those decisions and then kick people out when they trying to protect the plants they build more than protecting the damn people on the ground. If you're not trying to build schools that will teach us how to run the plants, then you got to go. He's doing that. Don't give me no mosses. Please don't build no more mosses. That's what he said. I don't want that. He's right here. That's all I was saying, bro. And you know, the group was a little bit mad at me because, you know, I got you infuriated, right? And I get it. I can be dominating sometimes, bro. You got a dominating personality, and then the shit ain't mixed. So we're gonna fix that, bro. We like to have the conversations, bro. It does not benefit me when new people come in the group and we're unable to have the conversation. So that's why I'm standing down, bro. I'm standing down on that part, but I'm gonna challenge your ideas, though. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, I appreciate that, C-Dot. Appreciate that response, brother. C-Dot, I'm gonna let you go, okay? Because I want to answer this comment, and then we out of here, okay, C-Dot? But appreciate you coming through, Warrior, okay?
No problem. No problem.
Right.
Thank you, friend.
Right. Peace and love.
Ken ain't getting up here. Ken got a lot of conversation to say.
Well, you can, y'all, hey, brother, he can get on your platform because I'm gonna answer this comment. Look, I'm gonna answer it. Look, I'm gonna answer this comment, and then I'm out of here because we've been on 1 hour and 15 minutes.
It's supposed to fake him out. It's supposed to fake like you was gonna tell me.
Now, I do got some time for that lineage person that's scared to click the link, who's watching and scared to click the link. I will give that lineage and over ethnicity person some time. I'll give them some time. But other than that, you know, I really want to answer this question. Out of Africa. So, brother, you said Kwame Ture, right? Our brother, Stokely Carmichael, our beloved ancestor, Nana Kwame Ture. He once said that unity presupposes organization. With that said, how are you in unity with your people while also being absent of organization, mass movement, or party? And you said serious question, and I want to answer you, brother. So let me show you something, okay? How am I in unity? So you're looking right now at the females of Cyberstars cybersecurity camp. This was an endeavor that was established in 2021 to inspire more African American or Black female participation in cybersecurity. If you look in every one of these photos, you know who you see? Who do you see, Brother Ankh, in every one of these photos?
I see African people, African American.
You see Dr. Ma'at, because he said, how are you in unity? How are you in unity?
You know, I know extra classes and stuff.
Yeah.
My fault.
Yeah. How are you in unity with your people?
Oh, yeah.
These are my people. I actually collaborated with one of the largest cybersecurity centers in America, which focuses on developing Black cybersecurity experts. So how is Dr. Ma'at in unity? Let's keep going. I established a company. I have my own organization out of Africa. Google me. Please Google me. I have my own organization called Conscious Ingenuity Institute, where we offer 4 programs. One program is Conscious Ingenuity, where we utilize science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to build character, confidence, and capabilities. If you look at the upper right corner, okay, those are my Conscious Ingenuity instructors, where we go into communities across the United States, where we go in, and when I say across, I'm talking about virtually and in person. We go into schools, we go into communities, and we teach science, technology, engineering, and mathematic concepts to Black children specifically. I started literally with 1 instructor. I now have 30 instructors, all of which are between the ages of 18 and 24, whom I've developed, who are Black engineers under my guidance. Let me keep going. Not only are we teaching from New York to California, we also took the program to Ghana. took the program to Ghana in 2024. So who do you see in those photographs? You see Dr. Ma'at, right? On the ground, boots on the ground, not only in the United States, but in Ghana, teaching engineering concepts to children, taking supplies over to Ghana. Hold on. How are you in unity with your people? Partner with 3 schools over in Ghana. This is the teacher. Shout out to Kwame. I'm getting ready to go back and see him December the 9th through December the 20th, because I've been doing so much daggone work that one of the kings and one of the Ashanti kings wants me to come to Kumasi to meet me when I get to Ghana. Okay, all right. Let's keep going, brother. Shout out to Baba Amin and Mama Nkoyo of the Uhuru Academy. This is another initiative where you have an African-centered school who partnered with your girl, Dr. Ma'at, to bring the UACI STEM camp into tuition. We started with a few kids in 2022. And if you look at the photographs, you see that we've grown exponentially over the past 3 years. We have 42 students. And again, if you look closely at these photos, you see myself and you see my students, my instructors from Conscious Ingenuity who teach in the program. And mind you, all of these programs are free, by the way. Dr. Mott doesn't ask anybody for a dime. She pays people. She pays organizations. Let me get to the next organization. Shout out to Pan-African Liberation Movement, PLM, of Baltimore, who collaborated with Dr. Ma'at to establish the ASAFO training camp, which is a training camp that focuses on manhood development in young boys between the ages of 12 and 14, where we teach critical thinking, character, culture, and care and creativity. So this is a partnership between myself and a strong Black organization based in Baltimore doing wonderful work. And that organization also was instrumental and helping to co-found the Agoji training camp, which focuses on womanhood development and young girls between the ages of 12 to 14. So you ask, out of Africa, how am I in unity with my people while being absent of organization? I have my own damn organization, and I partner with other Black organizations. Just wanted to answer your question.
Oh, you
Brother Ankh.
Put that up. Might as well finish the answer to the question right here. Black Excellence in Engineering, Science and Technology manuscripts. All right, here you go. It's a proposing African-centered education in STEM for African American STEM learners. Dr. Bailey, James Howley, PhD, and me, Robert West. We will add this to the history of African Americans and Pan-Africans adding to the fields of STEM education, right? We're trying to put it in a way where African Americans will start accepting it. If you go to the website Conscious Ingenuity, you'll see that we're lowering that, and so we don't got to be in a position where the young kids are in position to shoot at each other. They should be shooting at each other with science. We can change that if we can make it palatable for them. Nobody else is going to do this. Doc will tell you nobody's stepping up. And as a matter of fact, when you bring these ideas, they don't even know that you go to conferences, the journal Science and all that. You do all that. And for the first time they hear this is the craziest thing to me. That they hear that there need to be a centeredness, right? And thought so that African Americans can get this. The numbers are low for a reason, Doc.
Come on. Hold on. Hold it. You about to throw me the alley. What'd you say? The numbers are what?
Alley-oop. I just hit the numbers. I just hit you with the boom.
Right. The numbers. And when you say the numbers, expound on that. The numbers are what? Expound on that so people know what you're talking about, brother.
I'm saying we right next to the Eskimos. Like we're being in STEM. We're not there. We're last on the totem pole. Where you got other nations of people, they're high, but the African American, we're not participating. It's not happening. You know, I've motivated my kids to do it, but I'm just one person. You need a program. This is the program that's going to help them students get there. And on the website, you got the website?
Yeah, I just want to, I hear you, brother Ankh. You just kind of threw me the alley-oop?
Yeah, the alley-oop.
The alley-oop. Okay, let me do this. Let me share this.
We got a lot of people reading this too, Doc. They
Yeah,
reading it. Starting to read it, Doc.
yeah, they reading it. And brother Ankh, I'm glad you said that, because aside from those programs out of Africa, I'm involved in intellectual warfare on one of the highest levels. So this is a article that I published with Purdue University, where I'm arguing for the need of African-centered models in order to instruct Black students. Because just like Ankh said, the numbers are very low. So if you go if you go do your due diligence, 5% of Black people are scientists and engineers, right? And that number is actually dwindling right now, because a lot of Black people are unprepared. A lot of our Black youth are unprepared to successfully matriculate through a STEM program. A lot of our Black youth, when they graduate from high school, they're barely completing algebra out of Africa. So that means by the time you get to the university, we expect you to know calculus, okay, out of Africa. And so with that being said, a lot of us aren't going into engineering. We're not going into the STEM fields. And so anyway, and not only is it because of the math, but it's also because of the pedagogy. It's also because of the curriculum. And so anyway, I published an article for Purdue University where I propose the African-centered STEM education model. So the name of this article is called Beyond Cultural Responsiveness. And this is no shot to the sister that came up with cultural relevant pedagogy. So Latz and Billings. So there's no disrespect to her work, right? But I said, let's go beyond cultural responsiveness when it comes to educating Black youth, and let's elevate I'm talking about African Americans particularly, because I started there. I said, let's elevate their STEM education, our STEM education, through African-centered models. So in this paper, I propose the ACSE, the African-centered STEM education model, and I discussed the efficacy of it. And so this is one paper. I actually have like 12 papers that have been published by Purdue University, that have been published by the American Society for Engineering Education, that have been published by IEEE Frontiers in Education. So you're looking at a sister that's not only creating programs, right, for Black youth, inspiring participation in STEM fields, but I'm actually at the highest level involved in intellectual warfare, where we're going back and forth. And I'm saying, no, we need to include African epistemology in the teaching of our people. We need to make sure that there's a need to reconceptualize what STEM knowledge is and what it is not. We call it engineering construction. We need to redo that. So that's what I'm doing out of Africa. So out of Africa, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat, brother, because I want to know what you're doing. I want to know how you are in unity with our people. Okay, I want to know that. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat for you, brother.
Hey, man, he just got a voice. Everybody use their voice now, Doc.
No, I just want to know. I want him to use his. Yeah, I want him to use his.
So we just sourcing up. That's it. Here you go. Journal of Nature. This is published in the Journal of Nature, April 40, 1946, y'all. There you go. I ain't gonna read it. Y'all see it. The government of Kenya has agreed that the Pan-African Congress of Prehistory Archaeology shall convene in Nairobi. It's right here. All right. And I'll finish with this, and I'm done. The potential impact of Pan-African Great Green Wall. We talked about this in our server on a Sahelian summer participation global modeling approach with MPAS. All right. And so y'all look up what the Green Wall is. But it's a Pan-African endeavor. So you want to know what they're doing today? They are affecting change in the damn desert that will effectively affect change on planet Earth. If you know anything about geology, you understand how deserts and the sands blow, and they change a lot of things on Earth, right? So this Pan-African movement right here is actually going to help planet Earth, and in particular, the continent of Africa, when they green the desertified areas. So, man, y'all gotta stop this. The question is, what are y'all doing?
That part.
See, if you can't get past that, if you can't go get that, then just bow out gracefully. I don't want to hear because Umar Johnson is the prince and this person is the king. Pack. I don't want to hear that. Garvey, the hat, riding down the road, and the Africa for the Africans. Nope. They're not the totality of what those intelligent African people put together. They're not that. So let's stop focusing on that and let's focus on what it is doing. Let's give respect where respect is. If you don't got scientific sources, right, with your organization, I done showed you scientific sources, right? I done showed you that. Conscious ingenuity, pseudo killers, the whole 9 yards. I'm showing you this. If you don't have that, man, just let us teach, man. Let us teach, yo, because we got more. Let us teach. Save your lofty comments for later.
That part.
And go home and work on something that's gonna make some sense, and we can join together and help change the minds of the people, because that's what we doing. And big up to Dr. Miat. I say it again, man. Like I don't believe in luck at all. Don't believe that. But it's definitely when opportunity meets preparation.
That's right.
You know, they say all the time, yo, when the student is ready,
the teacher shall appear.
And see, you never know who the student is. You never know who the teacher is. How about that, Doc?
Come on, Ankh.
So
you never know.
Never know.
You never know. And I just want to shout out Sister Rashamella. This queen, man, she just put this in the chat. She said Dr. Mott is in unity by helping parents educate their children. She said, I'm grateful for 4 years of free STEM education and manhood training. Her son just won an award. She said, my son is blessed. Her son won an award. Her son actually won a plaque. We presented him with a plaque. You know, so I give thanks for people like Sister Rashamella. You know, I give thanks for people like her, parents like her. She's based in New York, Brother Ankh. And she made sure that every summer, her son Zion, he logged on to the UACI STEM camp. You know, she came down to Baltimore, grabbed a hotel, made sure she had him, brought him to camp for the ASAFO training camp. So I didn't charge her. You know, she's saying it was free, but she made a lot of sacrifices, Brother Ankh, you know, to get him there. And I just want to say publicly, Sister Rashamella, I am truly, truly grateful for you. Another thing I just say to Brother Ankh, I want to say this, man. I'm at a point in my life, and I don't mind addressing comments like the brother out of Africa, because some people don't know what you do, right? Yeah, some people don't know, so you speak on it, you know. But I'm at a point, Brother Ankh, it's you know, I grew up in the church. You know, my mother's a pastor. She's still a pastor. And there's an old biblical song that says, may the work I've done speak for me, you know, and they play it at a lot of funerals, right? But that song resonates with me. May the work I've done speak for me. So I give thanks for somebody like Sister Rashamella, who basically testified that, my son 4 years free right there with that sister. I appreciate that, sister. May the work I've done speak for me. The last song I want to mention was always sung by Mahalia Jackson. She wore it out. If I could help somebody, then my living isn't in vain. I live by that gospel song. If I can help someone, then my living isn't in vain. With that, Brother Ankh, please close us out with your last words.
Hey, look, I just appreciate all the people to take the time and deal with me. Sometimes I can be rough around the edges. I'm going to make mistakes at times, but I appreciate the healthy community that has developed around us. I really appreciate that. I appreciate the help of all the people that do research and allow me to present research they've did, presented me with sources. I appreciate all the pseudo killers, man. I appreciate Dr. Oyamayat that was able to take the vision farther than I ever could. Didn't have the qualifications to do that. Didn't have the word for all the actual, like I knew what it needed to be. She had the expertise and understanding and just listened to what I was saying and took and built an empire, man. And it's amazing how this even came about, though, Doc. It's the craziest thing ever. When you was in that jail cell, right? Who knew?
For weed.
Craziest
Look,
thing.
I want to let them know for weed. It was weed. Before
Yeah, I know.
before weed was illegal. Your sister was out there like, here, get your AZ, making money. So I just want to be clear and let the people know out. And that's the problem. That was the problem. It was crazy, brother because I never forget the judge. His name was Judge Bradar. I never forget him. Judge Bradar said, he said, I feel so guilty in sentencing you because he said, if you did this in Colorado, California, he said, you wouldn't even be in my courtrooom right now.
Yeah, see, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like he felt bad, for having to impose the sentence. He said, you wouldn't even be in my courtroom right now if I was in Colorado, California selling marijuana. You know what I mean? So
need to get that money back. Yo.
Yeah.
We can go a lot with that bread though.
Man, they can have it. It is what it is, man. You know what I mean? They can have it. They can have it. But go ahead, brother Ankh.
But yeah, so like I said, man, every little bit helps. Everybody that helps and support what we're doing. Just some good comments at times is refreshing. When you join the servers, man, we appreciate that. When you like and subscribe to the channels, man, like and subscribe to Dr. Oyamaya's channel, like and subscribe to the Pseudo Killers, like subscribe to Community Skeptics, man. Look, it's just important to do what we're doing, man. It's really something. It's real and it's tangible. You can actually look it up. You can send your kids there, right? You can be online. You can all that. So I'm saying it's real. It's not. We're not scamming.
No, we not.
Nowhere near that. It's not like. So my point is, I just appreciate it. Actually shows what people can do, and in particular, African Americans can do when they just trust each other, man. Sometimes you got to trust people, man. Don't trust them with the lofty, wild, out of control. I'm going to look at a big college campus and say, I'm going to buy this. But they don't give you a plan to how to
Come on.
Never give your money to people that don't got a plan. If you give your money to somebody that don't have a plan or have something you can look at and you ain't got to squint, you can see it and don't got to squint. You don't got to do this to your glasses.
That's right.
You can look at it and say, okay, if something go wrong, I can go because it's right. Boom, boom, bop. I got it. Right? We fall for the banana and the tailpipe.
That's right.
Appreciate you, Doc, man. It's been a powerful show, man. Thank y'all for help celebrate, right? The Doc and Ankh show, man, on Sundays. I appreciate her let me on her platform.
I appreciate the bill. Appreciate the bill, brother Ankh. The knowledge that you brought, the energy, the resources. Appreciate you, brother. I appreciate our friendship, more than anything. So, I appreciate that. Brother Ankh, but before we go, I do want to say this. It's a brother who's missing in Baltimore. He's been missing for 2 weeks. His name is Dakari Jahudi, and he's 32 years of age. Okay, 5'9", 160 pounds. Okay, black with a low haircut, dark brown eyes. And this brother, I used to enjoy seeing him do African dance.
Yeah, he looked familiar.
Yeah, you probably know him. Straight up Baltimore. And I have a lot of love for this brother. I have a lot of love for the organization he belongs to, the family, the FATIU family that he belongs to, the organization that he belongs to, PLM. And so, family, if you see this brother, you're out and about, you see him, please make sure that you call or you text this number right here at the bottom of the screen. It's actually 2 numbers. Please make sure that you call this number here. Okay, it's 240-716-0953 and 202-423-9011. All right, or 11. Okay, make sure that you contact. Look for this brother if you all see him and contact the authorities. All right, brother Ankh, let's roll up out of here. Let me make sure that I'm sharing my daggone sound because I go about it. I don't share the sound. People start yelling at me. But all right, brother Ankh, love you, appreciate you, brother. Let's get it in next Sunday.
Just appreciate you.
Peace.
Right beside the darts of the plan. What's though ain't made an art of the man. The new knowledge of power. One more prayer. Knowledge is power, and power is knowledge. Break the chains and experience the knowledge. Find power in power and truth in knowledge. Once you know, no one can take your knowledge. I read book after book, studying the power, spent hour after hour, learning black power, destroying lie after lie. For the power, found self in these pages of conceptual power. I found the truth and I'm not letting go. Frederick Douglass and Booker T found power. Nat Turner found truth in his darkest hour. Mama Harriet set us free and stood for we. In these pages I found power in our history. UEP birthed the Panther in me. In me, never let a fascist pig carry me, not me. Revolutionary thoughts, all I read. Normal for my soul, keep my spirit on high. Revolutionary thought is always on the rise. Yeah, is always on the rise. Love. Knowledge is power, and power is knowledge. Break the chains and experience the knowledge. Find power in power, and truth in knowledge. Once you know, no one can take your knowledge. I read book after book, studying the power. Spent hour after hour, learning black power. Destroyed lie after lie. For the power, found self in these pages of conceptual power. Our problem was never us, our problems was them. Them being the ones who robbed and took us. Kings and queens, nation builders. From stolen legacy to Anthony Browder. Building institutions with black knowledge. Build black libraries for black scholars. Building black minds, urban philosophy. Urban black reads every one place. Black owned bookstores, we support your space. To all black authors, we give much thanks. Knowledge is power, and power is knowledge. Break the chains and experience the knowledge. Find power in power and truth in knowledge. Once you know, no one can take your knowledge. I read book after book, studying the power. Spent hour after hour, learning black power. Destroyed lie after lie. For the power, found self in these pages of conceptual power. Our problem was never us. Our problem was never us. Our problem was never us. Knowledge is power, our power is knowledge. Break the chains and experience the knowledge. Find power in power and truth in knowledge. Once you know, no one can take your knowledge.